Good morning and Assalamu alaikum, dear students. I hope you all are well and fine. Hope you are safe at home, you're washing your hands, you're using mask, and you are keeping social distance. So let's start. Welcome back to the class. In this class, we would learn some of the new things, some of the new information. So let's begin. As you all know that we have started our new chapter, and the name of the chapter is How Animals Live. It's our chapter number 2 and it is on page number 12. I told you that in this chapter we are going to learn some of the important processes which are necessary for the life of an animal. So let's begin. So here are some of the important processes for the life of animals, and these are breathing, feeding and movement. We have done breathing and feeding. Now we will move towards movement, that is going to be our last segment of this chapter. So let's begin. So students, we initiated the process of movement in our last class. But in today's class, we are going to discuss this process in detail. So first of all, what is movement? Movement is the act of moving from one place to another or changing the position is called movement. Okay, so here as we are talking about the animals, so we should know that why do animals move from one place to another? Why don't they stay on the same place? They have to move from one place to another, or animals have to move from one place to another in search of food, in search of water, in search of shelter, or to escape from danger. Okay, so they cannot stay on the same place if they are not having the food, or they are not having the water, or they are not having the shelter. So they have to move. Okay, so how we have divided the animals according to their movement? Let's begin. So students, according to your chapter, we have divided animals into different types according to their movement, like land animals, water animals and air animals. So in your book it is written as animals moving on land, animals moving in water and animals moving in air. Now we're gonna discuss them one by one. So students, let's begin the type number 1 according to your book, and that is moving on land. Here we are talking about animals moving on land, means those animals that move on land. So here are some of the points. Most of the land dwelling animals or the animals that live on the land, okay, land dwelling indicates those animals that live on land. Most of the land-dwelling animals move with the help of their limbs. This is a word which we are using instead of legs. Okay, limbs means legs. So what we have, what do we know here? Most of the land-dwelling animals move with the help of their limbs or legs. They usually have four legs or limbs. How we have divided these four legs? Two in front, two at the back. Okay, two in front and two at the back. So the front limbs are called as forelimbs. Front limbs are called as forelimbs and the back limbs are called as hind limbs. Okay, so you can see that some animals like dog, cat use four of its legs to move or run. Like this, you can see these are forelimbs, these are hind limbs. But for walking and running or for moving from one place to another, these kind of animals use all of its four legs or limbs. But on the other hand, we can see that human beings and some animals like kangaroos use only two limbs to move or two legs to move. How? Look at here. You can see these are hind legs with the help of which they are jumping, and these are the forelimbs. Okay, so they use only two of its limbs and these are hind limbs. So they use only hind limbs or the back legs to move or walk. Okay, as human beings do. Not all the animals move on land in the same way. There are some of the animals called crawling animals. Now, what are these animals and how do they move? Reptiles such as lizards, crocodile and turtles crawl on the land with the help of their short legs. Okay, they move with the help of their short legs like this. Here you can observe a crocodile. This crocodile is moving forward with the help of its short legs. Okay, apart from this, snakes do not have legs, so they move by curving their body and pushing it against the ground like this. Here you can observe there is no limb or there is no leg in the body of snake, but still they can move. How do they move? They move by curving their body. They see how it is curving its body and it is pushing its body against the ground, which causes movement. And the snake movement is called as wriggling. Wriggling is a name of movement, or we can say the worm-like movement is called wriggling. So any worm-like movement as the snakes do, they are called as wriggling. So if I ask you what is wriggling and this kind of and in which animal this kind of movement takes place, so you can tell me that snake movement is called as wriggling. Okay, so it is a movement, any worm-like movement is called wriggling. So snakes do that. So here comes another type of animals according to the movement, and these are animals moving in water. What are the animals that move in water? Most of the water dwelling animals are fish, as we know. And how do these fish move? Fish have fins and tails for movement. Now, at both of its sides, there are fins, and at the end of their body, there is a tail. Now, these are fins and these are tails. With the help of these tails and fins, fish move forward and push the water backward. Apart from this, there is another fact, and the spindle-shaped body of fish help them to swim. Okay, Allah Almighty has given them the body so they can move easily or they can swim easily in water. Okay, so their body is spindle-shaped. A fish swims by pushing against the water with its fins and tails. As I told you that they push water with the help of their fins and tails and they go forward. So, on the other hand, there are paddle-shaped limbs of turtles and tortoises that help them to push water to swim. Like this. Here you can see a turtle over here and you can see its limbs. Its limbs are paddle-shaped limbs. What is it? They do not have proper fingers. They are having the paddle-shaped limbs, so they just push water backward and go forward with the help of these paddle-shaped limbs. Not only the fish and turtle and tortoises move in water. Apart from these animals, there are some of the animals that live in water or move in water, like frogs and ducks. Frogs and ducks have webbed feet which are used to push water to move forward. Now, what are these webbed feet? These webbed feet look like this. You can see over here that in between their fingers there is no gap. There is a skin. This is how their fingers are attached with one another with the help of skin. These are called as webbed feet. And how do these animals use their limbs to move in water? You can observe here that these are the ducks, and these ducks are just pushing the water backward and moving forward with two of its webbed feet. Okay, this is how they push water, and you can observe here how do they move. So here comes the last type of animals according to the movement, and that is the animals moving in air. So The animals moving in air, mostly they are birds, or we can say that most of the flying animals are birds. And they fly with the help of their wings. They fly with the help of their wings, and their wings are covered with feathers. So these are the wings and they are covered with feathers. They usually have light body weight. Their body weight should be light so they can fly easily, or they can control their weight during flight. Okay, so they are provided with the light body weight so that can make them help fly easily. Birds perch the branch of trees with their legs. These legs are used to sit on wires, on branch of trees, or they perch the branch of trees with the help of their legs. Okay. Their legs also help them to walk or hop the ground. Sometimes they walk a little bit on the ground or they hop the ground with the help of its legs. Now you can see that they are flying with the help of their wings, and their wings are covered with feathers, but sometimes they walk a little bit, so they walk with the help of their legs. Okay, and they are having the light body weight so they can control their weight during flight. So students, do you know that there are some of the birds that cannot fly? And why they cannot fly? They cannot fly due to their weak and short wings and heavy body weight. For example, ostrich and kiwi. Here you can see that this ostrich is running. This ostrich can walk, but it cannot fly. Why it cannot fly? Because the body weight of this ostrich is heavy, and the wings it is having, they are weak and short, so they cannot fly. Okay, so not all the birds can fly. There are the birds which cannot fly due to their heavy weight and weak and short wings. So up till now we have learned the movement of animals moving in water, moving on land, moving in air. Now here comes the movement in insects. Do you know that why we have taken the insects separately? Because some of the insects fly, some of the insects walk, and some of the insects run. So here are some of the points for you. Insects have 6 legs. Insects have 6 legs, and this is the key point for you. Some insects walk on legs, such as cockroaches. Here you can see. Okay, so cockroaches run or walk with the help of their limbs or legs. Okay, they usually do not fly. Okay, now some of them use their powerful hind limbs or hind legs to hop on the ground, such as grasshopper. Okay, if we talk about the cockroaches, cockroaches use all of its 6 legs to walk or run. But if we talk about the grasshopper, they usually fly, but when they hop on the ground, they use their hind limbs or hind legs, as it is written here. Some of them use their powerful hind legs to hop on the ground, such as grasshopper. Okay, you can see that their hind limbs are different from their forelimbs. Most insects have wings to fly, and some flying insects have 4 wings, like dragonfly. Here you can see that there are 4 wings. 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 wings. So some of the flying insects have 4 wings like dragonfly, but on the other hand, some of them have 2 wings like a housefly. This is housefly, and you can count the wings of housefly. 1, 2. Okay, this is how the movement happens in insects. Some of the insects walk with the help of all of its legs. Some of them hop on the ground with the help of their powerful hind legs. Some of the flying insects have 4 wings, and some of the flying insects have 2 wings. These are the common points or important points for the movement in insects. So students, here is the last topic of this chapter, that is migration. What is migration? Moving long distances. It is a migration. What is it? Animals move in group for large distances to find food and water or to breed. Breed means for reproduction. Okay? As we have discussed that why do animals move? Animals move in search of food, shelter. Another reason is they move to breed or for reproduction. So here are some of the migrant birds. Migrant birds are those birds they cover a long distance. Arctic tern is a name of a bird that is thought to be the champion of migration because they cover distance about 17,000 kilometer. 17,000 kilometer during winter, and this is how it looks like. It's so beautiful, and it is the champion of migration. It covers about 17,000 kilometer distance during winter. Apart from Arctic tern, there is another bird named as a starling, and it looks like this. A quail is also a migrant bird, and it looks like this. Apart from birds, there are some of the mammals and insects also migrate. If we talk about mammal, there is an example of whale. Whale is not a fish, it's a mammal. How and why, we are not supposed to discuss that. Okay, so from mammals we can take the example of whale. Whale covers about a long distance, okay, for breeding or for different reasons. Okay, this is how a whale look like. Apart from whale, if we take the example of insects, so there are monarch butterflies, and they cover a long distance, and this is how the monarch butterflies look like. So here we have completed our chapter. In this chapter we have learned the breathing process in different animals, feeding habit of different animals, and movement in different animals. We have learned that insects respire through spiracles, fish respire through gills, and mammals, birds, and reptiles, they respire through lungs. Lungs and gills are full of small tubes called blood vessels. Okay, then we have talked that there are the animals that feed on plants, they are herbivores. There are the animals that feed on other animals or meat or flesh, they are called as carnivores. And there are the animals that feed on both animals and plants, so they are the omnivores. Here are the examples as well. Then we move towards the movement. In different animals, movement are different. If we talk about frog, they move in water. Okay, there is a snake, crocodile, they crawl. Lion and elephant use their four of limbs to walk or run. There are the flying animals, they are usually birds. Some of the birds cannot fly due to their heavy weight and short and weak wings, like ostrich. So here we have completed. So I hope you have got it. What you have to do, you have to read the chapter carefully, you have to underline the important lines, okay, and some of the diagrams are given for the practice. Practice them well on the loose sheets, and thank you so much. Take care. Bye.